I give updates and highlights and so forth, Jeffrey, our chief marketing and revenue officer, will give a presentation. So I would like to, Jeffrey, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Terrence, thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Daryl Colloway, our president, may or may not be on. He last night texted me at 4 o'clock from the hospital that he has confirmed he does have COVID. So God bless him, and he said he'll do his best to be on. So I won't unmute him because his voice sounded very bad. So he's here in spirit. Okay. So and again, if any shareholders have any questions and so forth, you can happily put them on the chat there. We will answer some of those questions at the appropriate time and so forth. So further ado, let me go ahead and get into the updates. The first one, today is April 15th. Our 10K for the 2020 is due today. Our auditors have actually completed their review, but what's holding it up is the Valley High Mining Company's note holders are not responding to the auditor's confirmations. And we're talking about the notes that note holders of Valley High Mining Company own, and they have not enough confirmations have come back. So due to the inappropriate issuance of shares by the transfer agent, I have went ahead and told the auditor I rather give them additional time the note holders additional time to respond to the note confirmations on their note balances. Overall, I believe that I'd rather be late and error-free than on time with errors, and that's a decision that I decided to make. So those second round of confirmations went out a week ago. The board definitely wanted to go ahead and issue the 10K anyway, and I said no. I just got to be correct. I'd rather be correct than incorrect. I just want to thank the inappropriate issuance of shares that put a strain on our accountants and the auditors. We just want to make sure you shareholders are properly informed, and I want to personally thank them for their exhaustive work that the auditors and the accountants have done. Going on to the next topic, last week I went to our engineering lab in Texas, down there with Terrence. Thank you, Terrence, for your hospitality. Down there, I had opportunity to see how far along they were with the prototypes, to see the controllers. They are very impressive. I can only say, Terrence, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for us, and I can't wait for us to really get going with the turtles and so forth. And thanks Scott also for the presentation that you guys did for me down there. The next topic. Okay, thank you, Terrence. Jeffrey and Terrence, you can chime in at any time, okay? Everyone should know that's listening to this Zoom meeting that we sold Valley High Mining Company to a company called the Data Company on March 26th. We'll be sending out information on shares to current PMP shareholders soon. We are working with our transfer agent to get the information, and it's effective. The closing date was March 26, which means whatever shares you have owned on that day, whatever the formula that comes up with as far as how many shares you will have in the new company that bought Valley High Mining Company, that is what you will have. On this phone call, I cannot answer that question as far as what you will receive, but it will be very clear once that information gets out. The result of selling Valley High Mining Company, it made some dramatic changes to our balance sheet. One of them is there's over roughly $700,000 to $800,000 in liabilities, notes in particularly, that will be removed from the PMPG's balance sheet. But that won't be effective until the 10Q that's to be coming due shortly here. For the 10K 2020, it will not show that big turnaround on the balance sheet. But there will be some changes on some notes of reductions on the 10K that's due out today. Going on to the next topic, our joint venture partner, Smart Road Turtle. Everyone probably read the press release that they signed a letter of intent with Deep South Communications. Terrence, if you may, just give us a brief overview, a quick overview on Deep South Communications.
Deep South is a distributor for intelligent transportation systems. They also do installation and maintenance in Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, and Florida. And they also do the 5G infrastructure upgrade as well. And they have very good relationships with the Department of Transportations in those territories where they are.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Um, so, and I appreciate your hard work that you guys done, because I did not know that Deep South Communications had such a uh, government, federal government, local government, uh, contracts and connections and licenses all over the country. I was really impressed with that signing of letter of intent. We also, Terrence, also been working hard, which we haven't announced yet, and I can announce it today, that Smart Road Turtle signed a letter of intent to distribute road turtles down in South America. Terrence, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we're with the largest manufacturer and distributor for intelligent transportation systems in Brazil, and they gave us a letter of intent basically to manufacture and assemble the product there, and then also distribute it to state and local government as well as the toll authorities in the South America region.
Okay, that's a pretty big letter of intent. So we'll have a presence out there right away. Uh, Moving on to the next topic, PPG Enos Flint. Okay, so those discussions that we had with them, anticipations of getting to an LOI was halted. Why? One, PMPG wants to leverage the patents, begin licensing, and begin manufacturing road turtles before discussing a favorable deal for the company. We firmly believe, going into those meetings at our proof of concept phase, if we would have struck a deal with them, it would not have been favorable for us. And we have full confidence that within the next few months, we can go into actually anyone and to manufacture and distribute our road turtles on the level of PPG and its Flint. So that was just a business decision on the company, and I believe I've actually did a letter on our website discussing the same topic as far as PPG and its Flint. Another issue that the company have had that shareholders probably have been concerned with is specific stock transfer, our current transfer agent. When we found out that the shares were inappropriately given to our subsidiary note holders, the first thing that we had to do was be transparent. Transparency is everything that we could find out at at the moment that we found out. We had to issue press releases and 8Ks so the shareholders can be properly informed. So if you saw 3 8Ks and the numbers changed, because we were literally letting you shareholders know as the information was coming in. So what are we going to do about Pacific Stock Transfer? Well, everyone knows they've read the 8Ks, they read the emails on what the issue and the problem is. But as a company and a startup company, you have a cost versus benefit to litigate. The cost to litigate can be costly. Currently, we are focusing on producing revenue for the company, not spending money to litigate. Now, once we start producing revenue, now we can go back and figure how we're going to go after the transfer agent. But currently, right now, Our funds should be directed towards operations and revenue and not costly litigation. We have time to go and take care of the transfer agent. It's just that based on funds and direction of the company, we feel that we should focus on producing revenue and not suing at this present time. We have time to go after them. So, uh, what is our next thing that we want to talk to before I get too windy? Uh, what is the current phase or direction that PMPG are currently in? A lot of shareholders have been sending us emails on, okay, what direction are you, what phase are you in, what are you going to do for the next quarter? Uh, that is why I started to do letters on our website to inform shareholders where we are. And sometimes I'm not too clear, but Jeffrey, who's on the line, will be start to help get some more a clear path of direction for shareholders to read. But currently, we're in the proof of concept phase, and we need cash to move forward to production within the next 12 months. For example, we are currently involved in several ways to attract capital infusion to the company. Um, and once we're able to attract cash into the company, then we can build out our solution sets and soon to be announced 5G infrastructure holdings. That's a powerful statement right there. I don't want to get into it, but as uh, uh, LOIs come in, as the structures start to come together, it will all make sense. But right now, it's a little too soon to really dig into that. But saying that, please note, no revenues or earnings are expected till the added capital is funded to the company. What is PMPG currently doing to raise capital? One is debt financing. We are currently have a verbal commitment and waiting for this particular company to come out of audit, and we will announce our line of credit once the deal is completed. They can't sign our line of credit until the audit comes out. Once that is done, then we can make an official announcement. And I'm always firm believer that we should, when it comes to money or equity financing or whatever, that we should, before we make that official announcement, we should wait until the ink is signed. Our equity financing, we're currently, we thought we would be, our private placement memorandum, PPM, will be completed by last month, but we got blindsided by obviously the transfer agent situation, and then the sale of Valley High Mining, which kind of held this up. So our attorneys was busy, and so we're hoping that that'll be done over the next few weeks. So now that those two items are behind them, they are now focusing on the PPM. We are also, which I'm really excited about, that there's a few investment funds, broker offices. We are discussing that want to court PMPG of some major funding as well. Again, I can't get into that because of NDAs, and we're just in discussion phases. But that's where most of our time is what we've been working on. So, as of right now, that is our highlights, updates. Hopefully, that I was able to answer questions. There's always questions that that people may have, but we would do the best we can to get to that point. So now, Jeffrey, we would like to get into. I would like to introduce Jeffrey Brooks. Oh, by the way, thanks for the questions that you guys are asking and so forth. I love it when I read and see those things, but I can't answer any of those questions. So please, fire away with those questions because I love it. So, Jeffrey, can you go ahead and start with the presentation?
I sure will.
Okay,
thank you, Tony. As Tony noted, please keep your questions coming in. I'm going to take you through a much more in-depth strategic review and presentation of PMPG, the company, how we're organized and structured, et cetera, and the strategy that we, coupled with our partner, Smart Row Turtle, are pursuing to deliver meaningful solutions out to out to the marketplace. Once that presentation is done, we will open it up to questions, as well as presently, as your questions come in, Tony is looking at them so that we can aggregate common questions and respond to that. So let me first start with a little bit for those that are new to the company of who Premier Products Group is. We're a publicly traded company under PMPG over the OTC, and a holding company dedicated to acquiring or developing joint ventures with leading companies. Clearly, our joint venture with Smart Road Turtle is our first. The way PMPG is structured and organized, we're going to do that through two business units. One business unit or strategic business unit will have its deep focus on technology solutions, and the other will really, because they move hand in hand, will focus on 5G smart infrastructure business, a lot of field management operations to deploy 5G that again is a critical communications piece to the technology that we already have, and I'll get to that in the presentation itself. A little on the organization and structure of PMPG. This gives you a visual idea of our board of directors of Tony Wilfred Hicks, Edward Lee, who's a director and counsel, Darrell Calloway, our president, and Randall Brown. And then at the executive, and you should think of that as a management layer of the company, is Tony, Darrell, myself, Greg Goulas, who is heading up our 5G infrastructure initiatives. We'll have more to announce on those initiatives shortly, and again, an 8K notice will be sent. Terrence Burry, who's the president of our technology strategic business unit, is on the line with us now. Randall Brown is VP of marketing, and Pat Lovelace, VP of real estate. Again, we'll have more in terms of real estate holdings that play into a smart road, smart city solutions play. We thought it important that you see that we have our organization and governance structure in place, clearly at the board of directors, providing overall guidance, vision, and overview for the company. At the executive committee level, really management overview of both the technology and the 5G smart infrastructure business units. The reason we've pulled out finance, which is in the executive committee area, is that finance will play a special role in the evolution and development of the company, in that many of the initiatives that I'll be talking about shortly with Smart Road Turtle are about deploying infrastructure solutions to states, cities, and municipalities. Some of those initiatives may need to be financed. The good news is we have the talent on staff that if a state, municipality, or city doesn't have in their operating budget sufficient capital to deploy, we can work with them to float a road construction bond. So we call that out separately because their role will be not only work as kind of an executive management overview, but very active in terms of financing. And then as you see here, lastly, within our operating structure, as Tony announced, our partnership with Smart Road Turtle, and more will be coming out shortly in terms of 5G smart city infrastructure. And this quickly, and I'm not, we'll let all of you read it, really just shows that we're trying to provide very tightly delineated roles and responsibilities at each level of the organization so we can have clarity and avoid confusion between each component of our organizational design, structure, and guidance. But now I'd like to get actually to the most important and exciting part of the presentation. It's really on Smart Road Turtle, the smart infrastructure connected solutions that are in development. We're proud to note at PMPG that the PMPG SRT partnership comes with a very significant patent portfolio. The patent portfolio defines the very essence of technologies that are needed for smart roads, smart cities, and smart infrastructure. We have 22 of those patents. that are registered. They're in 31 countries. We think that gives us a great competitive advantage. The interesting part is that the patents, and as Tony noted, our initial objective is not to litigate, but those patents really help us act at some point in time, hopefully in partnership, but not clearly. We could go down a different path with some of the 5G solution providers that are already infringing on PMPG patents. Our patents themselves are all focused around transforming every paved surface to a smart highway or city infrastructure. And we do that by delivering wireless communications of what we're monitoring in, on, or near any paved surface or reflector. What does that mean ultimately in practical terms? Well, we're going to be focusing on core areas. First will be autonomous vehicles and autonomous driving. I'll get into more of that shortly. The Internet of Things. To us, on the simple basis, the Internet of Things will mean our technology will be able to help cities and municipalities manage their traffic light systems in a much more profound and real-time basis. We'll be focused on mobile data. That's in a very simple form. Mobile data will be the data we're going to push to the vehicle, but we'll also be pushing it to out-of-home advertising. So the billboards you see along highways will now be able to sense who's driving, what the appropriate ad will be, and the ad community will be able to now see that relevant advertising appears on the digital billboards that we're seeing deployed throughout North America. Security, there are many, all of our applications will be tightly tied to security. One of those applications will be on road toll collection. And I'll get into that because road toll collection will be a way for states and municipalities as we move from combustion engines to EVs to migrate from road tax that's delivered at the gas pump to a road tax delivered by the data and technology we drive, and then ultimately smart cities. And to us, that's about connected commerce, connected at the vehicle level, connected at the driver level.
Hey, so Jeffrey, can we discuss that? Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
There, so they can give them clarity. So Terrence, are you here? Terrence? Let's see what happened. Is he on mute? Did I accidentally mute Terrence? Yes, I did. Hold on. Well, are you? You should be open, Terrence. Are you
I'm
there?
here.
Okay, everyone. This is Terrence Berry, the holder of the patents, an inventor and visionary. So this particular slide here is really important, and we had a great talk when I went down there in Texas, and you were pointing out poles that were in violation of our patents. Could you give a brief, like what type of poles that currently violates our patents, and just so they could kind of have a general idea shortly, right now?
Yeah, the patent claims read any reflective apparatus in, on, or near a paved surface communicating wirelessly to a terminal, also including any vertical structure near a paved surface, a vertical pole structure. So your stop signs, yield signs, traffic lights, all those vertical structures that are near the roadway that are also reflective by law and that are also road markers as well.
Right. So, so we're talking about, and it says in 31 countries. Can you quickly just run off some of the larger countries other than the U.S. that the patents cover?
Canada, Mexico, the EU before they broke up, Japan, Australia, Colombia.
Oh, there we go, Jeffrey. Oh, so I was ahead of it.
You're
Okay.
a little ahead. That's okay.
I apologize. Okay, go ahead, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Yeah. So just to chime in, as I said, we have this very rich patent portfolio, and as Terrence noted, they're all focused on data. And where data is collected. So it can be from a road pavement marker. So when we talk about IRPMs, or intelligent road pavement markers, those are the reflectors today that you see located on the street. Those are just reflectors. There's no intelligence built into it. The industry typically calls them road turtles. We've made them now smart. That's our trademark name. And within the next generation of markers that we're creating that will be interactive and will communicate, the patents cover then data collection. So it's data collection at the road level. As Terrence just noted, it's at a pole level, any reflector, any sign, any marker, etc. So that's really powerful. You can see that the patents have been augmented to work with radar and cameras that we think that's, again, very, very powerful. We'll talk about that shortly. You can see how we go and have further evolved the patents to work with street signs, to work with the cellular providers, to have it work on terminals and with their backhaul networks that send data back up to a cloud, etc. We're very focused on object detection, and we think that will allow us to work with all the EV manufacturers, all the mapping and guidance technology companies, etc. Because clearly, as we move from a non-autonomous to a fully autonomous driving experience, object detection is going to become crucial. As you can see on the final patent on just this sheet, and I have another one, we talk V2V communications medium. This will be very powerful in that our patents have envisioned how we communicate vehicle to vehicle, and we actually call it vehicle to X, vehicle to anything. And we think that, again, will extend, will make our solutions highly extensible to all the evolving smart city, smart environment solutions that are in development.
Right.
And you can see we've also included that our turtles will work with a plurality of information and interact from one reflector to another. So what we see is that we'll be creating, we know about mesh networks for home and business, but in effect a mesh network itself, a mesh network itself for the road. And as Terrence had just indicated, it's not just the US, it's Mexico, Canada, Australia, the European Union, Colombia, Hong Kong, Australia, Japan, India, and Germany. So we think we have very strong patents and extremely wide coverage. And that's what will allow PMPG and SRT to become the gateway to smart roads, smart cities, and smart infrastructure.
So this is Tony speaking. I just want to say so these patents are great for enhancing current applications that are out there today. So if there's a autonomous car company, so most of our patents could easily help those cars see better, gather information, the data. For example, let's just say it's a autonomous car that uses beams, lights. What is that called? LiDAR or whatever? Well, LiDAR. So LiDAR, it just bounces beams in a general area. How can PMPG enhance LiDAR? Well, imagine with Terrence, you're your tech guy. Explain to them how that could enhance LiDAR.
With the miniaturization of LiDAR, which Apple has done with the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPad Pro, we can put that same LiDAR sensor in an intelligent roadway pavement marker around a curve or around a bend or over a hill when a car is coming. Because we have a magnetometer in the actual units, we detect the metal in the vehicle. That in turn will send a signal to the network, and then the network will in turn light up the LiDAR around the bend. We'll gather those images, send them into the network, and then turn around and send them back to the oncoming vehicle's navigation system so they can see there's a cow in the road, a coyote in the road, whatever's in the road, if it's foggy, if the weather is bad. So we basically extend the reach of a LiDAR application by a quarter of a mile, a half a mile, way beyond the reach of what the vehicle can see today, which plays into vehicle to infrastructure communications.
Right. Okay. And that's just one autonomous car company that we can greatly enhance their product. And there's others out there that even if they come up with something that, they still, if it has anything to do with wireless communications on the road, they have to somehow try to find a way or work in partnership with us. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, and to pick up on what Tony said, our real intent is to work in partnership because we believe that PMPG and SRT is creating a platform, and therefore the platform is going to be open. And whether you're an auto manufacturer, whether you're a map maker, whether you're in the real estate business, and I'm going to get into those targets, we're going to be able to have this data and information platform that will be very rich in information and improve the nature of your very business.
Right.
Getting back to fully autonomous, just to give you a comparison of where the PMPG SRT patents are. Well, our patents, as we view it, are at the heart of delivering both semi and fully autonomous driving. Currently today, the state of the art in autonomous driving is Tesla, where they have conditional automation. And they have this significant lead in the industry. Clearly, it's being caught up by some of the autonomous vehicle manufacturers and the technology partnerships they have, as Tony and Terrence referenced with LiDAR. But with ours, in augmenting those systems, we can go from level 3 conditional automation to level 5 full autonomous automation. So needless to say, as a company, we're already starting dialogues with companies in each of those sectors and others that can usher the day of fully autonomous vehicles around clearly not only guidance, but very much safety management. And we'll use the patent portfolio we have around wireless communications, again, from any reflective apparatus in, on, or under a paved surface to do that. For the shareholders on the meeting today, we see this development cycle is projected approximately 12 months from the time we're fully funded. And that's why, as Tony mentioned previously, we have a major effort underway, both in securing whether it's debt and a combination of debt and equity financing to build and grow the business. How big is the business? Well, it's pretty big. Right now, Cities Today, an analyst firm, just through 2025 views the global market for smart cities to be $2.46 trillion. In the United States, they view the market by 2025 to be $326 billion. PMPG and SRT is focused towards bringing smart roads and smart cities just for one smart city by 2025, and that's our internal target right now. That in itself would generate $200 million plus. So you can readily see the impact our technology will have, and that's just focused on one city. What's at the heart of the PMP Smart Road Turtle? Well, it's a framework. It's a technology framework that's focused on solutions dedicated to smart infrastructure, smart partnerships, and real-time data, intelligence, and safety and services that are provided to governments, to the transportation industry, to enterprises, users, and the business they serve. And at the heart of what are intelligent road pavement markers linked with their controllers, so you can think of those markers linked to some type of PC or computational device, is that we will sense, we will monitor, we will measure, analyze, we'll analyze with some artificial intelligent algorithms to solve problems, to partner, and to monetize. So we think we have this technology framework that is not only outstanding for us, but is broad and can serve the broader industry we've discussed. Why is that? Because at the heart of our business is data. And we agree with, I have 3 quotes up here, I'm just going to refer to 2 of them, that in the 21st century, the data is the currency for the century. Gartner and their SVP, Peter Sondergaard, said information is the oil of the 21st century and analytics is the combustion engine. Kui Lu of Microsoft, one of the companies that we're in dialogue with, as well as other cloud companies, is saying that data is the new oil. So we agree with all of these because it's the data that will propel revenues and earnings to PMPG and SRT. Where will they be from? Well, at the $326 billion US market by 2025, here are the top 10 industries that we see ourselves serving. The first and foremost, the most relatable one is U.S. state, county, municipal road construction. Just so for everyone on the call, just so everyone knows, there's 164,000 miles of U.S. interstate alone. So that's a lot of road turtles and monitoring. On top of that, there's 4 million miles of public roadway in the United States. So part of what we'll be doing is interacting with all those companies that address the road construction and maintenance industry. The good news is it's a rather consolidated industry. There's 10 companies that control about 80 to 90% of the road build. So they will be some of the first that we're working with. The next will be U.S. trucking, package, and postal delivery. We'll be able to improve their route scheduling, their timing. We'll be able to give them conditional alerts, etc. We'll be able to work with their systems to do such things as asset tracking, package tracking, etc. One of the areas we're very excited about is U.S. auto insurance, is the U.S. auto insurance industry, very much around claims adjustment. There's 360,000 claims adjusters in the United States. Claims adjustment is a long and tedious process. We believe we can automate it up. In the commercial real estate area, one of the fundamental things that the Smart Road Turtle will be able to do is not only counts of traffic, but we'll be able to better understand at a fundamental level when traffic flows take place, and quite frankly, the vehicles that are involved in those traffic counts. That's very powerful for the real estate development industry as they think about the next shopping center they're going to construct or next housing activity that they're going to build out, etc. The next area will be clearly the bodies that disperse the money to the states, the counties, and municipalities, and that's the federal government, and that's the Department of Transportation. The data will also be used by other government agencies such as Homeland Security, Department of Energy, and FEMA, much more around emergency and materials management. Again, very critical. We all, through COVID and the pandemic, are keenly aware of the impact that third-party delivery and rideshare services offer, especially around third-party delivery. We're going to be able to enhance their capabilities. As I noted previously, we'll be able to impact the digital out-of-home and programmatic advertising industry. We'll be able to help the power industry of figuring out where do they put those gray boxes you see at the side of the road that power our lighting systems and traffic light systems. And then most profoundly, we'll be impacting the global information systems and geospatial information systems. Think of that as mapping and guidance systems, as well as the global automotive industry, with a whole series of data that we think will be extremely large, extremely powerful, and a great revenue and earnings generator for the company.
Jeffrey, this is Tony speaking. For example, so for the insurance claims, this is one particular industry that I'm really fond of. So it's like when normally in the past, when insurance companies have to rely on human testimonies, eyewitness accounts, and so forth. Well, these road turtles can tell, hey, that particular driver a mile back, 6 blocks back, have been swerving an unusual number of times, the speed that that car was doing. So those insurance companies can now get that data and correlate with that with the human witnesses of the crash. So how much money or how much the companies would save by just having that data. That's a pretty, that potentially could be a pretty big number.
Yeah, and to add on to what Tony is saying, the way we'll have our sensors in the road turtle, and right now they're being designed to handle 7 or 8 sensors. The reality is there's 13,000 sensing technologies that are possible to incorporate in this. We'll be able, in working hand in glove with these industries, to figure out the design and what sensors are actually deployed. And as Tony noted, if we go into insurance claims, what will happen is that the real-time aspect becomes really important, that one of the sensors is clearly going to be an image sensor, so it will know the vehicles that might be involved in an accident. It will know time of day, it will know condition, it will know place that it happened. So just the core fundamentals we'll be able to compile and present as a solution to that industry very quickly.
Terrence, would you like to say anything about that?
No, you guys covered it pretty well. Like Jeff said, there's 13,000 low power sensors that we can put into the intelligent RPMs in any combination. You know, we'll always have GPS in there and date and time. And then once with GPS basically pulling back the location, the applications are endless on what we can do for all these different industries moving forward for intelligent infrastructure, intelligent highways.
Thank you.
So at the core of what we do are 4 core monitoring solutions. The first is emergency and safety management. So as we've noted, traffic conditions, we're already branding something we're calling SRT alerts that will be around crashes, EMT, access, around Amber Alerts, and clearly around adaptive traffic lights and adaptive lighting actually on the road itself. The next area we'll be doing, clearly at the heart of the Smart Road Turtle Intelligent Road Pavement Marker, will be traffic monitoring, as I've noted before, passenger and commercial vehicle counts, direction, time of day. We'll know speed, lane, and proximity of one vehicle to the other, so that's very powerful. Road management, this is going to be one of the we're unique of all the technologies that are out there, and that we'll be able to do road management and let the cities, municipalities understand what road temperature is. We'll have advanced motion detection, and most importantly, road conditions. So for those of you that are chiming in from the Northeast where you're pothole ridden, we're going to be able to provide that information in real time and hopefully speed the process of either repaving the road or fixing that condition. And then, you know, lastly and most powerfully is around automated driving platforms. So it's, as Terrence just indicated, GPS and assisted navigation, semi and autonomous vehicle assist. As I've noted earlier, as we shift from collecting road taxes at the pump to at the street level, we'll be able to do that. And then vehicle to X or a vehicle to everything technology will change the way communications happens from third parties to the car, from car to car, from companies as you get closer to a series of outlets pushing offers, promotions, coupons, etc., directly to the car itself. All of this is made possible through a very deep technology stack. For those that follow the technology and the engineering, you can see we have a hardware layer, a networking layer that the hardware captures the information, the networking layer communicates the information. We then have a data layer that captures, stores, and analyzes. You see something called API and data virtualization. That's where we bring in other forms of data so we can make the information richer. We have security that enforces privacy, accuracy, control, identification, and authentication through everything. And at the heart, we can then deliver smart driving solutions, emergency and safety management solutions, road condition management. For ESG compliance, we can deliver smart air monitoring, custom applications, and clearly smart traffic and smart transit. All of that is then made possible to do such things as communicate with other third parties, and we've developed our own API to do that. I wanted to give everyone here an example of how powerful we think if we talk about data and how important data is. Part of our strategy in engaging cities, and we're using Dallas as an example, We're in discussions with them. There's nothing that's material at the present time, but this gives you an idea of how powerful this is. First, if a city like Dallas decided to move towards a smart city, we will generate a very significant amount of revenues. Part of our business model is to offer a revenue share. That revenue share to a city of Dallas would be, after a full year of deployment, we estimate to be $52 million to them, and we keep the lion's share of the revenue as our business. So that's very significant. We will also be able to help the city of Dallas through roadway taxes that are monitored and collected literally by a vehicle at the road, collect taxes both for from commercial vehicle operators to a tune of about $45 million, both in residential and commercial. And because of the power of our technology, we should be able to help police departments offset their costs. That's similar to what was indicated previously in insurance claim adjustments. The same thing will happen with traffic and road citation. There's a good news and bad news. For the driver, maybe bad news if they're, if the driver is going quickly, we'll know that they're going quickly and for how sustained a period of time. And literally, we could automate a citation on behalf of the police department. Clearly, if there's an accident or vehicle, we would document that. Back to citations again, we would help the write-up for that police officer to a car that might be caught speeding, swerving, DUI, in a crash, etc. And these are just initial projections.
Actually, Jeffrey, so just to let the shareholders know and anyone else who's listening, on another presentation, Jeffrey dives deep into how these numbers come up, as far as how we come up with these numbers. We really did a lot of extensive going into diving deep into the numbers, and so when we do talk to a city and they say, hey, how did you come up with this number? We have backup documentation on everything that we're presenting here that you see today. So another presentation will give you a depth detail of how we come up with these numbers. Thank you, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. People have asked about shareholders. We wanted to bring you into how we'll work with governments and road authorities. So what we'll do is we'll start an initial engagement with that city. We'll note to them a benefit we can bring to them, not only making them a smart city, but how we can make them money. We can offset some of their cost. As I noted previously, based on their agreement to enter into that agreement, we'll go into budget contracting or bond development. So to the extent that the toll road or the city has funds, we're ready to deploy. If not, we have the vehicles internally and the management expertise internally to float a road construction bond. Once that's done, we'll partner with the leading road construction firms, with the leading pavement marker firms that had been mentioned to do the full build out and deployment. We'll work with them on operations management and then software data analytics. All of those last three, quite frankly, are revenue sources back to PMPG. So what might that look like when that's all done? We're already exploring partnerships to drive market adoption. We as one company know that PMPG SRT cannot alone drive the smart city. We have to work with a lot of the companies that are already out there, and they're major technology companies. You know them as cloud companies such as Microsoft or Google or Apple or Amazon Web Services. We're going to need to work with them because they have major smart initiatives taking place. That's part of our commitment to you as a shareholder. We're exploring technology partnerships with these companies already. What we see is that we will expand and augment these solutions to, one, improve transportation and safety management first and foremost. Two, expand into the market using our V2X patents to deliver real-time messaging that I had previously gone over. To demonstrate text, and that should be text to voice messaging through smartphones, the vehicle information systems and beyond. to deliver in-vehicle news, advertising, and couponing, and to provide something as simple as route confirmation from the time a vehicle leaves its place to the business it's going to, or to family members, or to friends. So we think we're in a very strong position to deliver these fundamental solutions that will transform the cities we know today to smart cities with very smart infrastructure.
Terrence, Jeffrey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So one of the shareholders is asking, do the electronic tolls violate the patent? I would like Terrence, if he's still on, if he can answer that, since we've been in discussions with the, I can't say their name because of the NDA, but could you explain about that question there that Stephen Nelson has?
Our portfolio reads a apparatus communicating wirelessly to a terminal, and then going back to the internet. All the tollways do is actually gather the car vehicle information and then process it internally inside of their database. It's not actual communications back to the internet like you're surfing a web page or you're watching a video. Our patents are basically around a reflective apparatus or a vertical pole, allowing you to get on the internet and surf a web page and watch a video through internet communications, not back to a private database, which is what a toll authority is.
Yeah, I think the other way to look at it is that when you move off of paid tollways into the major interstates and into major roadways where none of that technology exists, we're going to be able to provide the enabling technology that will be able to recognize, identify, capture, and ultimately bill the vehicle operator of where they're traveling. All of this happens at a very unique time within the United States as it's looking and to improve its own infrastructure. Last week, Tony came out with our own statement that we're supporting the Biden $2 trillion infrastructure plan to rebuild and reshape the economy. We think we can be a critical component in doing that. And so we're very pleased that the bill is out there. As you know, the bill is about 4 years of infrastructure build. So we think our timing is superb to take advantage of the funds that will be available to, again, the states, counties, municipalities that are going to need to radically rethink and improve the infrastructure to serve their citizens. We're now at the point, and again, this is just going back our safe harbor statement. Please note that PMPG as a company is in a quiet reporting and disclosure period. So certain things that relate to our financials and around what we believe, expect, anticipate, or plan should be considered as forward-looking statements. So we'll not be able to address that when we go into Q&A. But Tony, I'm going to turn this back to you, and
okay.
Thank you. Question and answer.
Thank you, Jeffrey. You've done a terrific job as usual doing your presentations. If you can leave that safe harbor statement up there, that would be wonderful.
Sure.
And Terrence, I want to thank you for taking the time to coming on and letting the shareholders hear your voice and talk and so forth. I would like now to leave the floor open. We have 6 minutes. So if any shareholders want to ask any questions in relation to the presentation that we have just went, or any statements that I have made prior to the presentation, and we will be happy to answer. Type it in, and then we will be happy to answer it. So Terrence, please keep your line open. All right. So. We had up to, I believe, 50 shareholders online. Here's one. What's going to happen on the status of OTC markets in regards to not filing the 10K? Well, I did ask our counsel what would happen if we don't file the 10K on the extension that we filed, but because of COVID, they're allowing companies a little bit leeway on that, and even if we're not filing today. It's going to be another. I anticipate at least 2 weeks before we file it. The auditors the auditor and myself, we just decided to give the note holders more time to respond, and it'll be filed. So I don't think anything tragic will happen for not filing within within the next 2 weeks. And someone, Terry Stein, a consultant for PMPG. Terry, are you there? You may want to say something to that as well. Terry? Uh,
Oh, can you hear me now?
yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah, the SEC is given a little leeway on the filings of Ks and not Ks so much, but the Q and the Ks 10. So I don't anticipate any major issue. We have all the data. It's just we have to double check and send out confirms and whatnot. So
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be major.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Terry.
Mhm.
So, John Buddy, thanks for that question, John Buddy. And then there's another question by CSCH Near. Can you speak to the TA? Can you speak to TA and getting the improperly issued share backs? I joined a little late, and it was already addressed. So, again, what we did say, there's cost versus benefit. As a startup, the cash that we do have, well, obviously it wasn't from revenue. It was from notes that investors invested in who believe in what the company is about, and that money should go into producing revenue and improving our proof of concept and not litigating currently. That we have time to go after them, and when we start bringing in cash or we get an infusion of cash, then we can properly address the transfer agent. So that was a great question. Hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions? Thomas Bustamante wants to know what is the values of the patents. Well, when we start doing the numbers with the CPA, multiple CPAs, because the smart world is fairly new, we took the numbers and based on real numbers that of selling data, we had to scale back all the way from I like 90% of what the data has been sold on the market today, and the numbers was extremely high. So what we did is we said, let's do the numbers on one city. What all the costs that we can conceive, think of all the costs, expenses, the management, everything, and what is the number? What would that number look like? What do the department offsets look like? And then and that's where we come up with that 200 million for just the city of Dallas. Now you'll have to take it from there, but that was the easiest way to wrap our heads around it. Also, it may be easier for any venture capitalists or funds and so forth. Hopefully,
Yeah, and to add to what, this is Jeff, to add to what Tony's saying, it then becomes both our own development, the 12 to 18 months we think it will take to develop and start deploying these solutions, and the speed at which these cities will want to deploy. But you can take the 200 million, and if you said, the top 50 cities in the United States want to deploy at times 200 million, you get a fairly large kind of total addressable revenue base, not even a market base. And then when you go, due to the protection that Terrence put in its filings to the European Union, to Australia, etc., the number gets quite large in terms of valuation of patents.
and of course, we have to get beyond our proof of concept phase and get proper funding so Terrence and his engineers and designers could, we can go into production. So, and then I have a question from Pat. We only have 2 minutes, so can you please give us an update on the VHMC sale, the Valley High Mining sale? That was closed on March 26th. Data mining company, no, the data company, I believe it's called, will have all the information of PMP shareholders as of March 26th, I believe, and you'll be able to go to their website and emails, and they'll give you the information you need. That is a private company, so that's all we can give you right now, but we also will give you that information, so you will be properly informed. I could take one more question. From Everett Cox, I understand that you're in a startup phase. How long do you think it would take to start showing revenue, and how do you anticipate the affecting the share price? Okay, well, just well, uh, Jeffrey, can you talk about not the share price, but
Sure.
okay,
Start taking revenue. So right now, as we've indicated, based on the funding we're looking to come into the company, from the time that funding is there, the development cycle looks to be somewhere around 18, maybe 24 months. We think ahead of time we will start to see some revenues come in purely on our deployment phase, because we will be able to get management fees from them. The real bulk of the revenues, however, as I've hopefully conveyed in the presentation, will come from the data. You should think that will be somewhere 24 to 36 months out, that real revenues will come in, and clearly revenues and some type of earnings off of that will drive, share valuation and share pricing.
yeah. So let me give you in relation to what he's saying. So uh, Amazon, it took 5 years in order for them to to produce a profit of $5 million. They actually had revenue of billions of dollars. Well, he paid every shareholder a penny after 5 years for the first time, and it took 5 years, and look where they are now. Now, also, Jeffrey, he's very conservative on the projections, and when he said 18 to 24 months, if Terrence believes that, once we're able to go into production, then 9 to 12 months in a year, we can start selling the road turtles, and that's not talking about the licensing agreements that we can start signing up cities. That's not talking about our real estate projection and revenues. We won't get into real estate into and 5G infrastructure in this presentation. That's in the next presentation. So I wish to thank everyone for coming on. We're a couple of minutes over. Sorry about that. Video presentation will be put up, and all I can say is thank you, and thanks for being loyal to PMPG. Thank you. Bye bye.